And of course, in order to give knowledge to people who may first time read about logical security, we need to understand or introduce what are the possible digital threats. So the malware is the wide term or the big umbrella that all kind of viruses and malware and Trojan ransomware will fall under. So malware stands for malicious software, and we have different kinds of malware such as virus, ransomware, Trojan horse. Keylogger is a kind of malware as well. Trojan horse is a software that looks good, but in the background it comes to do a malicious activity. And it is from the word Trojan, which was related to the city of Troy. Logic bomb is not a malware, but it is a piece of code inside an application that whenever the logic meet, this code will do adverse impact or will do a bad action on the system. Do you familiar with the logic bomb or not? That's right, and that's truly right. But let me ask you another question. Can logic bomb be discovered by antivirus? Yeah, that's you. You have okay. The problem in antivirus is antivirus does not inspect the source code of application. So he will not have a kind of visibility to what is inside the closed code. So logic bomb is not effective to be discovered using antivirus. If we need to know what is the most the better way to discover logic bomb is by using sorry what? That's right, secure code review. That's why we need to do white box testing when we receive a new software from one of the vendors, just to ensure there is no logic bomb included. Personally, I faced a kind of logic bomb in my life, and this logic bomb was made by a software company that was trying to do a kind of programming on a system purchased from them to make us always need their support and need their help. They do a kind of logic bomb that whenever the time match year 2021, the system will stop to work. Imagine you can imagine what would be the impact. This is a kind of logic bomb that I faced in my duration. And as you said, it is really as it is not a malware. It is a piece of the code that will do an action whenever a logic is met. So it is not a malware, but it is a defect or a problem in the code itself. And it better be discovered using the secure code review or reviewing the source code itself. We have Yeah, maybe this could be an example. And there are a lot of examples for the logic bomb. For example, if someone is hired from the company and he needs them to uh, he need to ensure that they will not fire him, or they will need him, may do kind of these bad actions on the system. Botnet and zombie army are a kind of millions of devices that could participate in launching an attack, such as distributed denial of service. Data diddling is the changing in data done by data entry or virus. So data diddling is one of the attacks that could affect the integrity of the data. Yeah, and that means data is changing while it is being entered to a system, and could be by the data entry and could be by the virus. And in case of data entry, we can protect against data diddling by implementing segregation of duty, by doing a maker and a checker. Who the one who enters the data is different than who commit this data to the production. So there should be a kind of second eye. Alteration attack means that while data are in motion, the intruder can intercept this data and change the data. One example of alteration attack is the attack that we discussed yesterday, SQL injection, using Burp Suite, when I said that the hacker intercepted the request and added like a syntax or a comma or something like this. Buffer overflow attack is caused by software coding issue, and it could lead to system breach or denial of service attack. So buffer overflow is not a malware, but it is a condition in the system happened due to improper software coding. It is not malicious from the beginning, but the developer has an issue in the code itself. Man in the middle attack. Okay, go ahead. I'm not sure if we have a buffer overflow on Contra, but yeah. Okay, they don't have a lab for buffer overflow, but by the way, buffer overflow is a kind of a complicated attack, because this attack requires extensive knowledge in how memory is handled on the system. The idea in buffer overflow in general is each process will include multiple threads, and these threads should have a specific location in the computer memory. This memory is used by the system and also used by different applications that exist on this system. By having an issue in how each thread can access its part in the memory, the intruder can attack the application and cause to not only read the part located to this thread in the memory, but also able to read the rest of application data on the computer memory. So it is a kind of application or a kind of software defect that infinite loop will cause the attack of buffer overflow to reach denial of service. And it can also lead to system breach, because as I mentioned, if the intruder managed to access the private data or the sensitive data stored on the memory by other applications, he will have like a possibility to elevate his privilege. IP spoofing is a kind of man-in-the-middle attack by spoofing IP address. Farming attack is a kind of man-in-the-middle but by fake DNS information. Salami attack is involving transmit small amount of money from computerized transaction. It is from CEH, I believe. Social engineering attack is example for phishing, smishing, and phishing, which means spamming, and phishing is spamming over voice, and smishing is spamming over SMS. Shoulder surf is that someone behind you can read your password. That's why password masking is needed when you enter a password to the system. Joyjacking is a kind of attack that rely on a special device, and from this device you will have a phone charger, and you find this device in a public area or airport or something like this. And whenever you enter your phone to this charger, the device could manage to read the data on your phone and copy it. So that's why you need to avoid to charge your device in public area. And by the way, the content that I am describing right now is the example of the content that you need to deliver in your awareness security training to employee. Dumpster diving is what we really need to dispose our papers and keep our office or desk clean, and to avoid leaking data by searching in dump and so on. Evidence should be collected in a proper way to ensure its chain of custody. So I believe we discussed the chain of custody, and also we discussed the write blocker. Why do we need to copy the drive or the digital media bit by bit to ensure that while we are checking this media, we will not change any data on it. All examination on digital assets should be done on a copy of digital assets. Removing a power cable keeps the data on RAM, and it helps in forensic investigation. Penetration testing is agreed upon test based on clear agreement and engagement rules. So penetration testing is a kind of security testing that organization or company request from a third party to come and conduct a security assessment for the system. This assessment could include multiple stages such as scanning, such as weaponization, such as delivery of the malware and the exploitation, and command and control or data exfiltration. So the penetration tester come and try to do or conduct a full chain of attack on the system that's subject to pen testing. And based on the pen testing, we will have a kind of data, or we will have a kind of report, and this report could be somehow use the organization to secure the data or to secure their system. So penetration testing is effective tool in measuring the risk and measuring the issues in the our infrastructure, and it could be supported or could be needed by many regulations or by many standards in order to be complied with. And the most important thing in penetration testing is that it should be approved by management and should be based on clear engagement rule. The one who do ethical penetration testing is called the ethical hacker, and it can be penetration test can be either black test or white test, which means not visible or visible. And I believe we took an example for the penetration testing based on white box analysis, which is the secure code review. It can be an announced attack or could be not announced attack. For example, we can agree with the penetration tester to conduct the test without informing the SOC team and the incident response team. In this case, we are not only evaluating the security level of our system, but also we are evaluating the readiness of the monitoring team in our organization. This kind of attack is called double-blinded, which means nobody know, only management and or only IT team is know this attack. And that's conclude the part of logical security, and then we will discuss the concept of AAA. We are working on a great base in this domain.